Hi, I'm Bill Lampton, the Biz Communication Guy, and today we're going to consider it's all in the eye of the beholder. Think about times when somebody has said to you, you have just got to try this new restaurant in town. The prices are good, the service is great, food is wonderful, and you go there and you're almost afraid to see your neighbor again who recommended that because your experience was quite different. Or somebody says, this is a must-see movie. Don't miss it. 20 minutes into the movie, you wish you could get a refund. Or perhaps somebody says to you, this TV program, this series, we're loving it. And I know you will too. You try it for one night, and you and your spouse look at each other and say, what in the heck did they recommend this for? It is all in the eye of the beholder. I had an experience just yesterday which reminded me of this. About a year or two ago, Bob Neal, highly acclaimed broadcaster, and I were planning to do some podcasts together, which we did. 24 of them. Most enjoyable experience. For our technical assistance, we called on my longtime internet guru, Mike Stewart, the internet audio guy, the internet video guy. Mike worked with us and he proposed that we read a couple of books. One of them was Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Crush It. Well, 2 days ago, sometimes you don't get around to things. 2 days ago, I was waiting for a meeting to start. I had my iPad with me. I went to Kindle and I read this book. To me, it was innovating. It was exciting. It was creative. Granted, it was written in 2009 and a lot has happened with the internet and with marketing since then. Even so, there was plenty in there which to me was revolutionary. And it was something that I thought every entrepreneur would want to grab onto. So last night, for curiosity, I went to Amazon and looked at the page for this book. 934 reviews. That is an enormous number of reviews. Now, let me share a couple of statements with you. It did average, out of 5 being the top, it did average about 4.5 in the reviews. So overall, it got terrific reviews. And here were ones that were positive, some that I would have agreed with. Very inspiring. Help is here. Great. 5 stars. I recommend this to anyone. And yet, I saw these which were quite the opposite. Don't waste your money. It's really nothing more than a salesman's pitch book. Too much fluff and not enough substance. Now, what's going on here? How can people see the same event, whether it's a movie, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a television program, or whether it's a book, how can they see the same event and perceive it so differently? Okay, here are a couple of other examples. Didn't we see this happening during the most recent U.S. presidential campaign? One group of people was so incredibly adamant and convinced, while the other group thought the exact opposite, and they were just as fervent in their beliefs. Now, think about this week's Super Bowl game. This weekend's Super Bowl game, Sunday, is going to have 2 teams who have a totally different set of fans. each one will see the game quite differently. Out of the millions of people who watch that game, there will be millions of different perceptions. It's in the eye of the beholder. Okay, what does this tell us about how we relate with others? And we can certainly transfer this not only from the personal scene, but to the business scene as well. The way we relate with others effectively is to recognize that they can have their opinions and we can have ours, and nobody is a total idiot because of that. One of the great statesmen ever on American soil was Benjamin Franklin. If you have not read his autobiography, I encourage you to. In his autobiography, he says that a Quaker friend pointed out to me that I was very obstinate in my opinions, and in conversation, I would not try to see the other person's side. Franklin took that to heart. He said in his autobiography, I changed my language. I quit saying things like absolutely, definitely, irrefutably. And instead, I started saying things like, it seems to me, in my opinion, I may be the only one who sees it this way, but Franklin said in the next 50 years, he did not have a dogmatic statement pass his lips. Let me adjust the camera there just a little bit. Okay. Did not, for the next 50 years, have a dogmatic statement pass his lips, and his relationships improved so much. He said that people began to accept his opinions and agree with him who never would have done that before. So keep in mind, it is all in the eye of the beholder, which calls for tolerance. It calls for recognizing that our opinions are not sacred, that we can be mistaken, or that each of us, you and I and somebody else, each of us can have a part of the truth. It's a matter of perception, and I encourage you to perceive it this way. Thanks very much for being with me. Wishing you a happy Friday and a great weekend. Inviting you to visit my website, that's B-I-Z, bizcommunicationguy.com. You'll see there how I can provide services for your company and for you that will help boost your persuasion and your profits. And speaking of the eye of the beholder, I'm beholding right now that it's time to hit the finish button on this Facebook Live. Delighted to have you with me, and I'll welcome your comments and feedback. Have a great one.